We're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by our guest for the afternoon, His Excellency Ambassador Youssof Zada, the former assistant to the Foreign Minister. It's a very good afternoon to you, Mr. Ambassador.
Good afternoon to you, Madam Angie.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for joining us this afternoon. Now, let me start by asking you, Mr. Ambassador, the widespread, flags of Egypt and the display of the Egyptian flags in Gaza, how do you see this as signifying really the perception of the role that Egypt has played, specifically amongst the Palestinians themselves?
Well, actually, as you've just mentioned, I mean, the role that Egypt played when it comes to the Gaza crisis was pivotal in the whole thing. From the start, we, of course, refused to implement the exodus of the Gazans into Sinai.
Yes.
The plan, which was headed by President Trump at the time, we refused to resolve the Palestinian question by that. And also, Egypt has been very active when it comes to the trucks that were entering with necessary equipment for the and foodstuff for the Gazans. I think we also, Zada, we also launched the number 40, which was yesterday.
Yes.
And we are preparing for more to enter and relieve the problems that the Gazans face when it comes to food and medicine and fuel.
Absolutely.
So the Egyptian role has been very clear by the Gazans, and they all know about it.
Indeed, Mr. Ambassador. Now, Egypt has played a critical role with regards to the mediation and the negotiation talks between the Israelis and Hamas, and of course with the latest ceasefire deal known as the Trump ceasefire deal. How do you see the role that Egypt has played with regards to hosting the negotiations in Sharm el-Sheikh, as well as the upcoming summit, which is expected to be attended by the U.S. President as well as President Sisi, alongside several leaders from all around the world, to signify and further verify the ceasefire plan?
Yes, on Monday, as you mentioned, now we're hosting in Sharm el-Sheikh a big conference.
Yes.
With the signing of the President Trump of the agreement, with the attendance, of course, of his host, President Sisi, along with the European and Islamic and Arab leaders. Now, Egypt has, the Egyptian diplomacy has a big experience when it comes to negotiations. I mean, remember the Camp David agreements, remember the Taba issue and the International Court of Justice in The Hague. And we've been very actually experienced when it comes to negotiations, and we have a lot of patience when it comes to the neighbors. So we know how Israel talks. We know how to make negotiations with the other side. And I think this is one of the very important issues that we managed to accomplish. We enforced the solution of the Gaza crisis through convincing President Trump to intervene. And here we are. We have a new initiative. We have a new agreement. We have good days to come for the Gazan people. Indeed,
God willing, Mr. Ambassador. Now, this agreement has several positive factors. We're discussing the withdrawal of the Israeli military. We're discussing the passage of aid, the sustainable delivery of humanitarian aid to Gaza. We are discussing the release of hostages and the release of Palestinian prisoners, and the numbers are starting to be appearing, over 250 Palestinian prisoners to be released by the Israelis as well as the hostages on the other side. How important do you see the certain steps and the certain points identified this time around in this plan?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned this, because the implementation of the first phase of the Gaza agreement has just begun a few hours ago. Now, as you've mentioned, it includes the release of the 20 live Israeli hostages. We don't know the exact number. In exchange for approximately, I would say, 1,900 Palestinian prisoners,
right,
including 250 life sentences prisoners and 1,700 detainees, etc. Now, the first phase includes also an Israeli withdrawal from approximately 70% of the Gaza Strip, which is a very important matter, and the opening of the Rafah crossing and Eretz, which is close to Beit Lahia, I would think, and also Karam Abu Sarim, which is on the southern Egyptian border of Gaza. Now, the implementation will begin after the signing of the agreement and the certification by the Israeli government, which happened a few hours ago, with, of course, the abstention of the two ministers in the Israeli cabinet. But who cares? I mean, the decision has been made. As for the other phases of the agreement, negotiations for the second phase will begin immediately after the implementation of this phase. Now, we are all very optimistic for the President Trump's visit here and the conference we're having in Sharm el-Sheikh on Monday. He will be returning from Israel after talking to their Knesset on Sunday, I would say. And I think that Egypt and the U.S. now have been steering the whole agreement and forcing Israel to implement it as well.
Absolutely. Now, finally, Mr. Ambassador, you know, on this positive, building on this positive news, the next step, in your opinion, after the agreement is signed, sealed and delivered, what do we expect, especially with regards to the diplomatic efforts Egypt has been seriously pursuing with regards to the reconstruction of Gaza and the hosting of an upcoming conference as well for the reconstruction of Gaza and the rebuilding of the devastated Gaza?
Very important question. Now, we have some plans, of course, along with the other parties. I think Germany also stepped in as to be one of the major players of reconstruction of Gaza. The government in Egypt, of course, is going to play a major role, along with the Arab countries who are going to fund it, along with the World Bank, the IMF, maybe perhaps some money from the United States and from the UNRWA as well, because we must remember that reconstruction includes, of course, delivering huge amounts of relief aid to the Gazans to be able to implement this. Now, we've heard, of course, about the Gaza International Authority, which is to be headed by President Trump with the assistance of Mr. Tony Blair. We're not very sure about what's going to happen. This is not very clear at this time.
As yet, yes.
But I think we'll have this international body working along with the Americans and the Egyptians.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to leave it at that. I'd like to thank you very, very much. Your Excellency, Ambassador Youssof Zada, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you very much, sir, for your time and your insight on today's episode of Cairo Local Time. Short break, and we'll be back to continue. Do stay tuned.